Hey guys, welcome to the channel, and if you're new here, please consider subscribing. It doesn't cost you anything, but it's really going to help the channel out. And in the last video I made this plunger. I'll leave a link to that above over there. And this obviously then goes into the chamber, which we made in the video before that. I'll also leave the link to that, and goes in there like that. And then the video before that I made version 1 and version 2 of the actual nozzle over here. I'll also leave a video or a link to the video above over there. So now in this video we are going to make the connection piece that goes from here to the actual pneumatic press. So it's going to be the plunger connection shaft, let's call it. So as per my normal workflow, I 3D printed a couple of these shafts out over here. This was version 1. It's just going to screw on there like so. And then I'll allow the plunger to extend the full distance down into the shaft to the bottom over there. But as you can see, there's quite a big gap over here. So I then reprinted this over to create the version 2 of this, which has got a much longer thread over there. Let's get it going there. And although this thread doesn't go all the way to where the plunger connects, there's a bit of a gap there, about a 2 mil gap. If you actually put that in there like that, it fits perfectly. You may not be able to see that actually in the video, but it extends all the way down to about that point over there. So there's going to be a little bit of a gap between where it's narrow and then where it widens up over here. But to accommodate this gap over here, I've shortened the actual thread and lengthened the shaft slightly. So to complete the design, I've come up with this after the 3D printed ones. It's basically going to be like this. None of these dimensions are really critical, excepting obviously the diameter of the thread at the bottom here, to be able to thread that, and at the top over here. So the bottom I'm going to actually do with a die, and the top I'm going to do with a tap, and then the rest of the dimensions are as is. So to make this part, I went down to my local supplier. They specialize in stainless steel, and I managed to get this part over here. It's pretty close to the actual diameters that I need it to be. As you can see there, that top part is basically perfect. I'm just going to do obviously just a pass on it. But the only thing is, this is 304, and it's going to be tough to machine. I would have preferred 303, but beggars can't be choosers. So 304, and let's head over to the lathe and let's make this part. Start, I'm going to face off the part, center drill it so that I can put it between the live center, put the live center in rather, and just start turning the front end down. I don't turn the whole shaft down initially, just the front end where the actual thread's going to be. Just carry on turning it down until eventually I get to the correct dimension for the threading. We put quite an aggressive chamfer on, and put a bit of a relief there for the thread, and then use a die to actually do the threading. Once that's done, just make sure the part fits. Then start turning down the main shaft to the right dimension. I've created a bit of a transition between the main shaft and the section that connects to the pneumatic press. I place it in the bandsaw just to cut off the excess material. And we place off the other side of the part. Add a bit of a chamfer, center drill it, and then start drilling it so that I can get ready to run the tap in. To get it to the final size, I bored it, then ran the tap in. Okay, at the end of that, we're left with this part over here. Got the obviously the thread at the top, thread at the bottom, and the shaft length, and then that's actually going to connect to the plunger over here. So that forms basically a nice little connection over there, and that in turn will then just fit into there like that. And that completes the design and making of this part over here, the connection piece between the plunger and the pneumatic press. So guys, that's the completion of this part over here, the connector between the plunger and the pneumatic press. And don't forget to like and subscribe so that you can follow along